Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today in this video, we're going to be tier ranking some Epiphone guitars, all right? Epiphone's a brand that really has kind of just came out of nowhere over the last, give or take, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 years. And a lot of their guitars are really just absolutely amazing, right? But that doesn't mean I love all Epiphone guitars, right? So you guys know how tier rankings work. I'm going to be giving my thoughts and opinions really quick on some Epiphone guitars and just shoot the breeze and hang out with you guys, okay? So orientating you to my tier maker, boom, we have 5 different tiers today, okay? Not for me, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? I just really would have no desire to play it. Play it once is just one step above in the sense that, like, I might try it just to see what would happen, but again, kind of really not interested. Wood gig would be a scenario where, let's say I get hired again as a hired gun for another tour or something like that. I would take it out on the road, or if it was there already out on the road, I would play it, but it wouldn't exactly be my first choice. High praise, really love it, almost perfect for me, and then God tier is exactly that, okay? Goes without saying, but these are my thoughts and opinions, man. A lot of you guys get really triggered when somebody thinks differently than you, and you get all upset, so it's interesting. Just chill out, man. Some of you guys are softer than baby. Just chill out. Before I start ranking today, if you do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, I'd really sincerely appreciate it, and like the video. Takes a second. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And yeah, with that being said, let's get on into today's video, okay? Alright, dude, let's just start ranking them, man. I believe if my math serves me correctly, we have 20 guitars to get through. Let's start off with the Epiphone Les Paul Modern. I'm going to go play it once. Now, a lot of these guitars I have not played, but I have played some variation, or I'm very knowledgeable at the least. You know what I mean? Like, I know a lot about these guitars. I'm a huge Gibson fan and a huge Epiphone fan, so not all these guitars I have actually played, but using a little bit of deductive reasoning, I can kind of make my own conclusions and, you know, think for myself, okay? Les Paul Modern from Epiphone. I don't know, the Gibson Les Paul Modern, it was cool. I had one years ago when they first came out, but I don't know, man, just a lot of like the whole push-pull pot thing and the weight relief thing. I don't know, it's like, it's too much, you know, you're trying too hard. Just stick to what you're good at, and that's kind of why I favor more of the traditional type of Gibsons and or Epiphones, like when there's a ton of different like phasing and wiring and split coils and all that stuff. You're trying too hard. Let's go with Joe Bonamassa's latest signature guitar from Epiphone, the SG3 pickup thing with the vibrola. Not for me. Don't really like SGs at all, and I don't like vibrola systems at all, so yeah, just really wouldn't be for me. And like dark red, like wine red or dark cherry red color on a guitar is like probably my least favorite finish, so really doesn't appeal to me, you know, although it is really classy looking. It's just nothing I would ever really consider playing. Let's go with the 1959 Gibson Epiphone crossover thing. I'll put it in wood gig. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, like these have actual Gibson pickups in it, which is a step up from the Epiphone burst buckers, right? Is that what they're called? Burst buckers? Pro buckers? You know what I'm talking about. And, you know, they certainly are really trying to cater towards the people who are, in fact, fans of the 1959 aesthetic and feel of a guitar. These are really cool. They come with a really beautiful, like, case with, like, this really pretty pink in there. Like, it's a nice presentation, and for that, you know, I certainly welcome that, and I welcome the effort. Let's go with the Matt Heafy 6-string Origin Les Paul. High praise. I really love what Matt Heafy did with Epiphone this go-around. He really did something. He did it with another guitar. You can see it's down there that I love even more. Spoiler alert. But the 6-string variant, it's absolutely classy. Both the black and the white variants, like Black Beauties and like kind of the Randy Rhoads aesthetic with the Fishmans and the gold hardware. You did a great job there, Mr. Heafy. Let's go with the Jerry Cantrell Wino. I'm going to put it... You know what? Not for me. And I love Alice in Chains, and I love Jerry Cantrell so much. But again, wine red is really my least favorite color, man. I think it is like, I would take any other color on a Gibson than wine red. But yeah, just, I don't know, something about it. I just don't really like that aesthetic. Kind of a common theme here in this video, you'll see. And I don't know, man, like, it just doesn't really do it for me. It's kind of like I get it, it's Jerry Cantrell's guitar, but that doesn't mean I like it, you know? Let's go with the Koa Les Paul Custom. I'm going to put it all the way up in God tier. I think Koa is the most beautiful wood ever on a guitar. Now, I'm sure this is just a veneer, but still, aesthetically, it looks absolutely amazing, and it's so pleasing to the eye. Dude, Koa guitars, they're just so awesome, man. Like, my father loved Koa guitars. He's the first one that ever introduced me to Koa when I was like 9 or 10, like right when I first started to even understand what a guitar was and how to play it and stuff. And ever since then, like, Koa has always stood out. So when these hit the market several years ago now, like 3 years ago, give or take, I was floored, man. I tried one and I almost picked it up, but the one in my local guitar center didn't have like a good veneer. Like it wasn't a good, it didn't look like that. It didn't look like the catalog photo or whatever. But anyway, man, you know, kind of rambling here, just wrapping this thought up. I love Koa. I love it on a Les Paul. I really like this variant. Plain old 50s inspired Epiphone Les Paul standard, not for me. Now, I don't know, man. I feel like if I'm going to play an Epiphone, I feel as though I personally would want to play something that is a little bit more special. Something like a signature guitar or like a really kind of obscure variant, like kind of like what I was saying, like the Koa. Like I would take the Koa 10 out of 10 times versus just the plain old 50s inspired Les Paul. You know what I'm saying? Like doing something different is what I'm looking for with Epiphone. And for me, this is just a plain old run-of-the-mill Epiphone guitar. And for that amount of money, like I would probably just save up and get one that I personally would like more from Epiphone. Jerry Cantrell, the other signature one, I forget what this one's called, but it's got Fishman's in it. I'm going to put it in wood gig. I don't really like the plain white. I like the off-white. You know, I said I like the white with the Matt Heafy, but the gold hardware is where it like made that pop. I don't really like white and silver. I think it kind of looks washed out, and I'm not really a fan of the inlays on this one. Like I said, it does have Fishman's, and that's cool. And like I said, I love Jerry Cantrell like so much, dude. Like his riffs are awesome. One of the most underrated guitar players of all time. But that being said, his signature guitars as of late just are really, you know, kind of lukewarm for me, but I do love this one versus the Wino guitar. So yeah, I would play it. Let's go with the Epiphone Silverburst Les Paul Custom. You might be surprised. I'm going to put it in high praise and just in high praise. Most of you guys would probably think I put it in God tier, but what's separating it from that tier is it's not the teardrop finish. It's like the edges burst, and like a Silverburst, dude, it's got to be teardrop in my opinion. Like my Silverburst Les Paul Custom, my Gibson one, like that's the bro. Like it has to look like that. And although I sincerely from the bottom of my heart appreciate the effort with Silverburst for an Epiphone Les Paul Custom, man, it's just not a teardrop, you know? Let's go with the Alex Lifeson Axis Epiphone. Ooh, this is tough. I never thought where I'd put this one. I don't really like the color. Floyd's kind of cool. I love Rush. Love Rush. Oh, man. All right, just pick, dude. I'll put it in wood gig just for the fact that it is really obscure. Like any sort of Les Paul Axis is by default cool, you know, for better or for worse. Like a Les Paul with a Floyd, at least it's different. You know what I mean? Like at least it's not just a run-of-the-mill guitar. So for that, you know, I value the effort, even though it's just red and I don't know, man. Like I don't know, man. Maybe I'll put it in play it once. No, I'm leaving it. Wood gig. Let's go with the Korina Epiphone 1958 inspired guitar. Not for me. I'm not really a huge fan of the Explorer shape at all. And the Korina aesthetic, I think, is rather unappealing to me. I would go as far as to say I think it's kind of ugly and kind of bland and kind of plain, like a plain old guitar, like no finish. And I don't know, I just don't really like natural guitars without like a burst or a flame, like just a plain old slab. Not really a fan of. I love wood grain and stuff like that, but it's got to have something more. I've said it a lot on this channel. Like I do love wood grain, but like, you know, that wood grain on the Koa versus that, I mean, you guys can clearly tell what I'm trying to say here, right? All right, we got two Jared James Nichols guitars here. I'm going to put the Gold Glory in God tier. One of my favorite guitars I've ever played. I love how fat the neck is. I believe it has a maple top, if I'm not mistaken. But it's just got like this full thickness body. It sounds weird. One pickup, just a wrap tail, wrap around bridge. Like that is so wild, man. It's heavy. It sustains really well. Really, really love what Jared James Nichols did with his Gold Glory. Love that guitar so much. Let's go with the brand new one on the block, the Kirk Hammett Purple Flying V. I'm going to go high praise. Anything purple for me aesthetically is like super badass. I don't know if you guys are picking up on this, but I'm a very superficial person. Like I've said it a lot. If it looks cool, I feel cool. Like, I don't know, man. Like Lizzie Hale said it in an interview one time. Like you want to have something that like makes you feel cool. Like I think it was in her rig rundown like 2.5 years ago. Like you want to feel cool and you want to feel like you have something, you know, in your hands that like you think is rad. And, you know, I hear the counter argument of like, yeah, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like who cares what it looks like if it sounds good? Dude, totally get you on that. But like, it's purple, man. Like purple's rad. You know, I'm wearing basically a purple shirt right now. Up next, we got the Joe Bonamassa Black Beauty that's not out anymore. I'm going to put it in God tier. These things look really, really sharp, man. They have like the aged binding, 3 pickups, a really beautiful presentation, like with the case and stuff like that. Really cool guitar. Has cool tuners too, which, you know, you're probably like, really, dude, the tuners? Yeah, man, like it looks cool. The whole thing, I absolutely love. And they're going on the used market, or at least they were, for a lot of money. Maybe it came down over the last couple of years. I haven't checked in a while. But yeah, really cool guitar. 3 pickup Black Beauty, Joe Bonamassa signature. Love it. Let's go with the Extrora Epiphone Prophecy. Not for me. Not only do I not like Explorer shapes, but I really don't like Explorer shapes with a giant horn sticking off the side. Like, I think that looks super wonky. I think I would put this guitar in like maybe at least Play It Once or Wood Gig, if in fact it didn't have the big horn. But like the big horn thing is like kind of silly, man. Like, why'd you do that? Just keep it the same and just make it cool, like with the Fishmans and the locking tuners and the, you know, all that stuff that you're already kind of doing. I just wish they didn't do that with the Extrora. 5 to go. We got 1 V and 4 Pauls. Let's go with a Paul right now. Let's go, let's just stick in Prophecy land. Let's go with the Les Paul Prophecy. High praise. One of my favorite guitars I've had on the channel from Epiphone, if not my favorite. Again, Fishman's 24 frets, which is really cool. Locking tuners. It's weight relief, which I'm not a real huge fan of. Modern access heel. It looks cool. As you can see, I chose this variant of the black one, the black and red one, and this one I think is called like Tiger's Eye. Like that almost looks like a vintage guitar, like, you know, with that aging nitro that turns yellow over time. Really dig that guitar, man. And yeah, definitely one of my favorite Les Pauls that Epiphone has to offer. Let's go with the Blues Power Jared James Nichols. Ah, man. I want to put it in not for me, but I'll put it in Play It Once. Like I just said with the Gold Glory is beautiful, man, and it's an awesome instrument with everything that I described. But one of the coolest things with the Gold Glory is it's gold, and gold looks so sick. I think like a denim blue, period, doesn't really look that cool to me on anything. Like that kind of blue is not my favorite. You know, obviously I get it, Blues Power, blah, blah, blah. Like it fits with the branding and all that stuff. And who the am I to say like if it's not cool or not? Like I've talked to Jared several times on Instagram throughout the years, and you know, dude's awesome. I don't have to justify my opinion. Long story short, it's like the Gold Glory is the and now this blue is just not my own personal favorite. That's all I'm trying to say. Let's go with the Adam Jones Silverburst Les Paul Custom Art Series. I'll put it in Wood Gig. Again, probably surprising some of you guys. Adam Jones aside, I love Adam Jones. I love Tool, but like I'm not really personally from a player's standpoint. Excuse me, I'm not a huge fan of the art series thing. Meaning, if I was to buy that guitar, I truly would be afraid to play it and ruin the art on the back, like giving it buckle rash or, you know, dings and all that stuff, right? Like if this guitar was just a plain old guitar, like with a plain back or a Silverburst back, it'd probably be in God tier, right? But again, for me, the whole art series, the art collection, like honestly, man, like I'm not really a huge fan of like really any of the art on the back. I think the one with like, I don't know, it was like a bull and like a demon or something, like fighting or something. It was like something pretty metal looking. But like I have no attachment to any of those art pieces, and that's just me personally. So like, which one would I choose? Would I choose the Veil of Bees, or, you know, I have no idea which one I would choose. So like, it's kind of like option paralysis, you know, first world problem. But long story short, the art, I think for me personally, again, as a player and not a collector, takes away from the guitar. And for that, that's kind of like where I'd say like, yeah, I would gig, but like, as you can see, like I have not purchased one myself because I like to play my guitars. Any guitars that I keep, I play them and I play them pretty aggressively and put them through its paces, right? So long story short, cool concepts, but just, again, I'm not really a fan of the art on the back, and that's just my opinion. 2 to go. Let's go with the Epiphone Prophecy Dave Mustaine. Honestly, everybody, not for me. You might be saying, why? Well, I had to do some research. I remember when these came out, but I double-checked it and I cross-referenced my memory today. These guitars are only 24 3/4 inch scale length. And if you know anything about the Dave Mustaine V from Gibson, and Kramer, I believe as well, they're 25.5 inches. So this guitar, although it's a cool guitar, what I'm getting at here is the just plain old regular Epiphone Prophecy V is like $899. This one's like $1,500. So you're paying almost double the amount of money for what I would just say is the same guitar and just maybe different pickups and a different headstock. To me, that's not worth it. So like, I personally would never have any interest in buying this guitar over the regular Epiphone Prophecy V. And last but not least, let's go with the Matt Heafy Origin 7-string God tier. Reason being is because it's 25.5 inches on the scale length. Now, that's not the biggest scale length for a 7-string. Like, you could get away with like drop A, I would say, on 25.5 inches, maybe a little bit more depending, you know, case by case, you know, basis there. I mean, I just toured in drop A sharp on a Les Paul 24 3/4 inch scale. Anyway, point being, it's like, you can get away with getting down there a little bit, but regardless, the fact that it's not 24 3/4 inches like a regular Gibson scale is huge, man. Not to mention all the other stuff I said about the 6-string variant, the gold hardware, the Fishmans, the black variant, the white variant. They all look super sleek and super sharp. And for that, I absolutely love what Matt did with that guitar. So everybody, that wraps up today's video. Like I said, these are my opinions. Doesn't mean I'm right or wrong. We're just hanging out today, okay? So what do you guys think of what I had to say? Leave your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section, and I'll meet you down below, okay? With that being said, if you want to subscribe, I really sincerely appreciate it. I am out of here. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.